Full time. Newcastle 3, West Ham 1. It is over. It's done. We are down. Thanks, Nuno. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your contributions, mate. Well done. Now, fuck off. It's done. Well done, Bowen. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Full time at St James's Park, and a massive result for Tottenham. West Ham have been beaten 3-1 at Newcastle, which means Tottenham just need 1 point at Stamford Bridge to secure survival.
Well, it's not 1 point at Stamford Bridge, 1 point from the remaining 2 games. You know, it doesn't matter what they do last game of the season. If Spurs lose at Stamford Bridge, we still only need a point at home to Everton on the last day. So 1 point from our remaining 2, and Spurs are safe and will be a Premier League team next season. I think West Ham, I think Nuno got it all wrong from the get-go today. I think that was clear to everyone to see, and obviously he tried to rectify it 20 minutes in, but the damage was done by then. 2-0 down after 20 minutes. They shut the bed in those first 20 minutes. Tactics were all wrong. Personnel was wrong. The player that he brought on ended up being their best player, Tati. You know, he was the one that scored the goal. He was the one that looked threatening for West Ham. But I cannot thank Newcastle United enough. I want to thank Newcastle from the bottom of my heart for the way you conducted yourselves during this game today. Took it so seriously in a game. You know, maybe they have an outside chance of playing in European football, but this is the best I've seen Newcastle play all season. So I cannot thank them from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to Kieran Trippier. Thank you to Eddie Howe. I thought Malik Thiaw and Sven Botman were fantastic. I thought Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali were fantastic in the middle of the park. And what can I say about William Osula, man? William Osula.
2 great goals.
Sharp shooter, man. Absolutely fantastic.
They made sure the integrity of the league was upheld today.
Absolutely.
And they did us an absolute service. One unbelievable performance. As you said, at first 20 minutes, they blew West Ham away. And I think West Ham never really recovered from it. And I think that was really the difference. If you take away those first 20 minutes, it was probably more of an even game, wasn't it? And I think West Ham, after making those subs, got back in it and had some chances. And obviously,
too late,
as you said, that beginning, Newcastle just blew them away. It was scintillating football. Intense, aggressive. That was Eddie Howe's side at his best. And if they're going to play like that, next season, then they're going to be back to their best. They're going to be a team to fear again.
Especially if they've only got 1 game a week.
Exactly. So this season's been, poor from them, but there are signs in this game that that's what they can do when they're at their best, and that everyone's, pulling from the same hymn sheet and everyone's pulling together. But yeah, West Ham, it was they haven't been good away from home. We've noted it in our previews and stuff. Their performances away and results away from home have not been the same as at home. They got battered by Brentford. They lost heavily to Aston Villa as well. Wasn't a great performance against Palace, and they've not shown up again today. And at the end of the day, as much as Tottenham have been in horrific form, West Ham, it looks like if Tottenham get a point, it's going to be they left their run too little too late here in terms of this Premier League season. And this was poor from them. And I wonder what the future holds for them and their players if they go down. But as Tottenham, we need to get the job done. 1 point now. We've given ourselves an unbelievable opportunity to seal it at Stamford Bridge, but if not, it's 1 point from the next 2 games. So we've got it all on our hands. We've got all the advantages now. 1 point. So go and grab it, Tottenham. Go grab it at the Bridge.
Look,
1 point.
We all said, didn't we, at the back end of when all was said and was done, and last weekend, we all said this was the game. If we're going to stay up, Newcastle had to get a result today, because we couldn't go into that game at Stamford Bridge knowing of the pressure that we had to get a result. Now, it leaves it a bit open because we do need 1 point from our last 2 games. So we're going into it with a lot less pressure.
That should be the final whistle. It is the final whistle. You'd say that's probably it for West Ham, the final whistle on their Premier League stay. It's always a sad thing, but, 3 losses in their last 3 games. You can't really argue with that. Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away. They'd have expected to get at least 3 from those 9 points. But it's not in their hands now. And Spurs know 1 point from their last 2. And they will be in the Premier League. Spurs play Tuesday night against Chelsea. We'll be live for that because we're live for Man City's trip to Bournemouth anyway. And then it's a final day this time next week.
And that is it, lads. Full time. Newcastle 3, West Ham 1. That is music to my ears. That is music to my ears. We need 1 point. 1 point against Chelsea or Everton to stay in the Premier League. 1 point. It's all in our hands now. Newcastle have done us a favour. Arsenal did us a favour last week. 1 point against Chelsea or Everton.
That brings an end to the Matchday Live. I appreciate you guys sticking by. I'm sorry. Come and join me on the highlights review show. I'll try and dissect the game.
Away, Mr. Gillet, blow that whistle. There it is. There is the full-time whistle. And it is a good, solid win for Newcastle United. 3-1 over West Ham. And deservedly so. Newcastle were excellent today and didn't really give West Ham an absolute sniff today. Apart from the goal by Tati and a couple of saves by Nick Pope. But we played some absolutely beautiful stuff, guys.
100%. It's great seeing a bit of style about us and almost a 90-minute display. I guess you're not going to dominate for the whole 90 minutes. But last 15 or so, we were under the rack a little bit. But in the main, it was a really, really good performance. Last one of the season. Just amazing. Yeah. It took that long to find out that this is going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think that's probably the best we've played in a long time. You know, the passing-wise, movement-wise, everything came to fruition there today. And yes, there was bits and bobs of West Ham putting the pressure on, but listen, they're fighting for their lives. They're about to have a spell in the game where they do push. But I think we defended really well today.
It was okay. It was okay. A few silly defensive moments, but largely
later on
it was
when the tired legs, better. Alex, but most of the time was solid enough.
I think this certainly proves that we need to recruit very carefully going forward. And yeah, there's got to be an acknowledgement of transition in regards to your Jacob Murphys and your Dan Burns. Like I know they did what they were meant to do over the past few years, and it's worked really nicely. But we are now at a crossroads of trying to progress into a new team, and that transition has to happen. We need a spare midfielder that can be technical. We need a spare fullback that can come on and be technical. We need to fill in these positions because as we've just seen, you get to an hour and we have to shuffle it. We can't sustain. You know, when a Big Six team, okay, we'll ignore you Spurs because we know you're in a weird place. But generally, when a Big Six team, if they make a couple of subs, they can sustain their system and how they want to play and their identity. That today kind of shows that, yeah, we've got a really solid 11 and a good idea, but we can't sustain it. Absolutely not. If you get a couple of injuries and issues, we can't keep playing that way. We'd have to completely play in a different way. So we need to recruit accordingly. The summer is going to be absolutely enormous as to whether we can progress this team.
Yep, can't disagree with that.
Well, I think that's them done. That is them done. Spurs, massive result in it. I mean, you look at that now and you got to think to yourself, like, that is an absolute battering. I thought across the pitch they were better. I thought Nuno got it wrong. Really, really got it wrong. I don't like his starting 11 whatsoever. I think it was poor. I think at the start, and look, you can go and check this, I think he had to start Castellanos and Wilson. He went more defensive like we know Nuno likes to do. Poor. And I actually wouldn't look at that West Ham side now and think they're going to beat Leeds either. So,
but there you go. Newcastle 3, West Ham 1. Newcastle, I've probably confirmed West Ham as relegated. I think that's it down, you know. I think that's it done. Red Rebellion, it must feel really shit to know you're getting relegated. It's not great. And listen, they'll still live to fight another day. There's still another game. They've got to hope for Spurs to get beat. And maybe, who knows? Thanks very much, Dan. I appreciate that, mate. I really do. It's very kind of you. I'll keep ploughing on.
Yeah, that is it. That is the final whistle, ladies and gents. like I say, thank you for everybody that's contributed so far and to this. Mate, obviously, we've only got a couple of minutes because obviously Chris will do the post-match analysis, and I'm sure there's still a lot to talk about. So I am going to listen to you for the last couple of minutes. I'll try and include a couple in the chat as well that I can see. What's your thoughts then, mate, in the final whistle?
I'm delighted to win. I think we're very good in the first hour. One or two nice touches in the second half, in the last half an hour as well. But it's like we go to pieces mentally. West Ham didn't offer very much at all, but we still managed to make them look like they were capable of scoring 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. That's what we were thinking that could happen. And it just shouldn't. It shouldn't be like that. I don't think Alanga or Wisser have made me excited to watch either of them playing next year when they've come on, nor Murphy. But that starting lineup, I like that starting lineup. I like the shape of it. I like the personnel that he picked. And it, in terms of blooding new people for next year, I would love to have seen Neve come on for Asula. It couldn't have done any worse than Wisser did. But
today. And there you go. There's the final whistle. Newcastle 3, West Ham 1. Spurs fans can be relieved for at least another few days. West Ham with 1 game to go. Know that if Tottenham don't get another point, a win against Leeds on the final day will keep them up. But Spurs know a point in the next 2 games will keep them up. Probably on goal difference if West Ham manage to beat Leeds, or it could be by the 3 points. Who knows? Who knows, Nige? Nige, thoughts on the game, mate, before we go?
Yeah, like I say, decent game. Really enjoyed it. Big up to the chat, big up Cookie. And listen, it's in Spurs' hands, yeah? 1 point. We need 1 point from 2 games. So if we manage to mess it up from here, we deserve to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, big up to everyone in the chat, Del Boy, others. We appreciate you.
That's it. Full time. Full time, guys. Full time indeed. It's game over. They're in serious, serious trouble. Look at this. Tottenham need to win or draw tomorrow, and then it's basically over. Tottenham win tomorrow, West Ham get confirmed relegated. Tottenham win, get a draw tomorrow, it's merely impossible with a goal difference like that. So it's basically Tottenham get a point and West Ham not mathematically relegated, but all but surely relegated. You feel me? So yeah, Tottenham just got to avoid a loss tomorrow. Just avoid a loss tomorrow. Get a draw, mathematically impossible. And get a win, then they're relegated. There you go. Tuesday. Yeah, there you go. Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday. And then obviously Burnley tomorrow, West Ham. There you go. But yeah, people.
And that is the full-time whistle. It's finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 3, West Ham United 1. And I think it's fair to say West Ham are pretty much relegated. There's... For them to stay up, they are going to need an absolute miracle. They need to beat Leeds on the last day of the season, and they need to hope that Tottenham lose to both Chelsea on Tuesday and Everton on the final day of the season. Whilst I could see Spurs losing to Everton, to Chelsea. Sorry, I don't think the results on the final day will go West Ham's way. They've lost their last 3 games, which has ultimately cost them. And I think it's fair to say West Ham will be playing Championship football next season. For Newcastle, I mean, like, none of the players are really celebrating. This is what I mean. Like, this game meant absolutely nothing to them. Absolutely nothing. And they decided to play as well as that. Why'd you have to ruin the fun? Oh, dear. Oh, well. But again, you've got to give credit to Newcastle because they played well. And if West Ham could defend, maybe they would have got something. Ultimately, it's not Newcastle's responsibility to defend for West Ham. Some of the goals that West Ham, all of the goals that West Ham conceded today were Sunday League level.